Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Weekly Daily. It is now October. It might have been October in the last episode that I did. I can't remember. But fall is here. It's very chilly in the apartment. And, what can you do? I've always hated the cold. I'm not a fan of the cold. But you just got to adapt. That's what we've done since the beginning of time. Sometimes the world was cold, the planet was cold, and we had to persevere. Okay? I'm just saying all the words that a Gatorade commercial says: adapt, persevere, triumph, win, just do it. Nike. I'm having trouble keeping these headphones in. It's funny doing the podcast here in my apartment. I'm alone in the apartment, but also I'm right beside a walkway. I'm about 7 feet from people walking outside when they pass. My neighbor upstairs probably can hear me. And there's a sense of safety and a removal of embarrassment when I block out noise by having the headphones in and hearing myself. It blocks out the outside noise, and also I can hear myself speaking, which I don't put them in for that as some sort of like I need to hear myself God complex. That's not what it is, but it kind of eliminates noise on the outside, and if I can't hear what's going on, then I don't know people may be near, and there's less embarrassment. Okay? I like that. I don't like knowing that people are around while I'm talking to myself. That's strange. But it is a new world that we live in where we're getting more and more comfortable. That's become more and more the norm. Whether you're on FaceTime or you have Bluetooth in, you're talking on the phone with somebody, or you're just vlogging and you're videoing yourself and you're recording, it's becoming more and more acceptable and prevalent. But I still, I think a lot of people still are self-conscious about it. And that's where we're at, Maybe in a couple years I'll just vlog outside. Not even vlog. I'll just podcast. I'll just walk around in a Walmart and just be like, "Welcome to the Weekly Daily, guys. In this episode, I'm buying rice and chicken. Maybe some vegetables." I used to vlog. I think I've told you guys this before. I don't know if anybody's checking it out, but I used to vlog in Central America, in Nicaragua when I lived there. And I would do videos, and I felt so self-conscious. You would think in a country where people don't speak English, you can just like vlog and have a camera on yourself and you're speaking English and you're like, they don't know what I'm saying, so it doesn't matter, does it? But it's like, I don't need to be speaking Spanish. It doesn't matter if they can't understand. They still understand that I'm talking to myself to a camera, and that's a shared embarrassment, okay? Across different languages, across different countries, humans share that embarrassment. So that's, it's good to know. People like to say that we're super different as people, and we have different opinions in different countries and different cultures and different norms and different opinions, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, we're all ashamed of recording ourselves on a camera in public, okay? We're really similar, okay? You go over to Asia, I bet there's some kid who is vlogging in the middle of Vietnam talking about giving a review on a local pho restaurant. And he gets a lot of views, okay? He has a lot of subscribers, but he's in that restaurant recording himself. And I bet he's a little embarrassed inside. He's like, I'm making a lot of money off this, but I still feel a little weird. I like pho. Pho's good. Pho. Pahoo. Pahoo is how, I guess that would be the most gringo way to pronounce it, huh? Huh? Pahoo. You guys want to get some pahoo? I like pahoo. All right. There's a bad fudge joke up top. Just getting rid of them. It's like I said, glad to be here, guys. I'm feeling good, a little more energy than I've had in a bit. I've had a long week. It's been nonstop, man. It's been travel. There's been just go go go, which is good, but also I'm still finding myself trying to stay in check. Got to balance the food, sleep, diet, exercise, uh, all of it. So here we are. I just changed out the batteries in my recorder, which let me know. Anybody else here? I know probably half of the 8 listeners also have podcasts. What do you guys record on? Let me know in the comments. What do you record on, and does it take batteries like AA's or AAA's that you have to replace every 5 seconds? I need to buy some rechargeable. Actually, that's mostly on me. But this Zoom H4n eats up every 3 hours. It's just bad, and I feel batteries are a weird thing where they have like a little bit of juice in them, and then you're just like, here's like a chunk of metal that's now trash. That's just metal in a garbage can. And that feels weird to do. And why do they last so little? I used to play video games like all the time, and in college I would do the AA batteries, and I played a lot of video games. So you just burn through these things, and you're like, what is happening? I eventually got like a corded controller, so I wasn't running through batteries like that. But it is a weird thing that they last for so little, then you just have metal that's trash. But also B, I have a bad habit of taking them out and like putting them on the table, and then a month goes by and I'm like, I don't know, are these good batteries or not good batteries? And you can't tell unless I guess you could put them in something. But most things that you put them in, like a remote control or whatever, it doesn't show you like a gauge of battery. So it either works or it doesn't work. And most batteries that I have deemed unusable anymore probably have a little battery left. So then you can't tell. You're like, it's working? Is it full? Is it not? I think they used to have I haven't seen one of these in forever, but when I was a kid, I think there was like a little strip, a power strip that you would put on the positive and negative side, and then it would fill up like a Pokemon HP side panel, and you could see how much battery was in there. Maybe I should buy one of those. I need to be more resourceful with my batteries. Okay. What are batteries even made of? What's the difference between Energizer and Duracell? Okay, a bunny versus Duracell. What is their mascot? They're lazy. They're just like, we're Duracell. That's like a very battery cell, a cell of battery that's durable. Dura cell. Okay. Guys, I said I had a little more energy. I did not say I have more clever wit and quick banter available in my brain. So, don't say I didn't tell you so. I just ate some steak and eggs for breakfast. I cooked the steak a little too long. It was a little disappointing. It's fine, but I like a good medium steak. I like it a little red in there. I don't like it necessarily rare, but medium or medium rare is pretty good. And I cooked it. Well done. And sometimes you just got to eat steak that's a little more done than you want it. But you live and you learn. I ate it. I made 4. I had 1. I'll chew through the other 3 later today and tomorrow. But here's a little update, guys, on the diet stuff I've been doing. So I've talked over and over and over about uh, diet, and so I won't bore you with all the way to the beginning. I'll bore you with some new stuff about diet. I've mentioned in the past I've struggled to um I think I'm struggling to get calories in because I only eat like 2 meals a day and I'm just eating super kind of clean meals. So I think I need to get like I've been trying to figure out and find, protein, fat, just dense foods that I can get in my body so I don't wither away and become 95 pounds in the next 3 months. And so this last week, uh, I, and I'll tell you about the last week because I was on the road and traveling, did a comedy festival. But before I get into that, I was eating very healthy still. I was at a condominium that had a kitchen and everything. It was good. It's easy to shop and cook. But I bought some whole milk yogurt and heavy whipping cream and fruit. And I've had that in the past. I use that as a mixture to eat just a lot of healthy fats in kind of a dessert-esque treat type of meal. And I ate that throughout the week. And I'll tell you what, it ruined my stomach. I did not feel well. And I think that kind of snowball affected into not feeling well, stomach hurts, uh, lower energy, tired, mentally not feeling as well. So that was a bummer, going down this path of super healthy eating, and then you try to branch off into healthy eating, but like to get more calories and fat, like I said, and you're like, oh, I feel like I'm backtracking. But that's part of the live and learn motto, baby. Sometimes you eat yogurt and your stomach hurts, okay? That's like, that's in a book somewhere, I'm sure. But I'm no longer eating that, and I've now went shopping, bought a bunch of my normal stuff, my meat, vegetables, eggs, and here's what I got. I'm trying to do some fat-rich stuff, and so I got dates, pecans, coconut, maybe coconut oil. I'm going to make that into some energy balls, but hopefully that'll be good. Dates are like very rich, natural sugary things, so I don't want to overdo it, but also maybe those can be like a little treat that offer me calories, fat, and some sustenance, some some suspect sugars. So there's your little diet update. There's my diet update for you guys, for y'all. With that said, last week, let's get into it. This last week, it's been busy. So the prior weekend, I did the Colorado Springs Comedy Festival. Very fun there at Looney's Comedy Corner. Great club, fun shows. Had a lot of fun there. And then last Sunday, I drove out to Kansas City. So today is like October 9th. 10/9, 8765. No, October 10/9, 2023 is today's date. It is Monday, but last Sunday, I drove out to Kansas City on Sunday, and I stayed there throughout the week. I worked there during the week, went to some mics, and did the Fountain City Comedy Festival over the weekend, which was super fun as well. It's my maybe like my third time in Kansas City, but technically like my second time kind of doing a couple days plus of shows in the area. Last time I went last April 2022. Very fun, met a lot of people, did some shows, did some mics. Really enjoy Kansas City all around. I mean, it's a fun city. It's a fun comedy scene. A lot of nice people, Midwestern people, kind of your stereotypical, just very kind individuals, which reminds me a lot of, growing up in Virginia. The Midwest is a very similar vibe. Just kind of normal folks that are nice and enjoyable. And I like that. And it's no different there in KC. The city is, it's a big city as well. I mean, it's not not New York City. It's not massive, but honestly, it might be bigger than Denver. I don't know exactly, but it's a fairly sized city as well, and I enjoy being out there. I enjoyed my time out there. It was good weather. Went out, like I said, on Sunday. Monday, just kind of hung out. It was a busy day working, and then just stayed in. It's like a 9 hour drive, so Sunday really took it out of me. Then Tuesday, went to an open mic. They have an open mic at their comedy club there, Comedy Club of Kansas City, which is a cool space. It's kind of out in the burbs a little bit, but it's a nice room, nice stage, cool visual look to it. And that was a little cute open mic they did. I don't know why I said cute, but the word that I was searching for and not able to find in my head quick enough was uh tiny. Tiny amount of people. That's not a good way to say it either. But it was mostly just comics. It was in the club, and then, there's probably 30 or 40 people, almost all comics, I would say. Which is cool. I mean, here in Denver, there aren't really opportunities to do a quote open mic on an official stage of a comedy club. Looney's does have one, so that's great. But also with Looney's, they usually get a decent crowd down in Colorado Springs. So I take back what I said. Looney's does have that. And there's an open mic at like the Comedy Fort, but it's not on the official stage. But I guess what I'm trying to say is we don't have anywhere it's an open mic at a club with like super low to no stakes, which, that's not ideal as far as like, hey, I'm trying to get a good reaction and really feel the pressure. But I think it is a good idea to get reps, or it can be good practice to get reps on a comedy stage, especially your home club, when it's low stakes. So you can kind of like, the more you can be in a room, especially when it's low stakes. I mean, you obviously want to have the high stakes too, where it's filled out. But if it's low stakes and you're able to get reps there, I feel like you can just get more comfortable. You're like, yeah, I've been here when it's good, bad, ugly, in between, whatever. And we don't have that in Denver. Not that it's a huge deal. I just kind of, rambled for a couple minutes to give you guys some info that you probably didn't need. But don't have that here in Denver. Maybe one day. Because Comedy Works has New Talent Night, which is a big club in Denver. If you're not familiar, Comedy Works New Talent Night is kind of their quote unquote. You can't even call it an open mic. It's a night for amateurs, and you sign up for like 3 months online, and then when you get on, you get 2, 3, 4 minutes depending on where you stand, and it's, I mean, a lot of times it's half full or more. So you're talking about 150 to 300 people. That's not low stakes. That's all the stakes. You go there to rip, to do well. You're not messing around when you're there. And if you are, what are you doing? So that was Tuesday. That was fun. I did that mic, and then I went to another mic at a venue called the Rhino. I had an open mic on Wednesday, run by a good buddy I actually stayed with for a couple days, Ryan Tricky. He's a comic out of Kansas City. He lived in Denver for a year and a half. Very funny, very nice gentleman there. But he runs the room there, and went and did a few jokes there as well. And then Thursday and Friday did the festival. And Saturday, I did shows on Thursday and Friday. Saturday, I was also there to hang, to check out shows, to say hello, to shake hands, to watch people do karaoke, to watch people do crowd work. I watched it all. I was there as a spectator, baby. I said, no shows tonight. Let's see what's up. But they were very fun shows, and very fun. Like I said, a lot of very funny people at the festival. I did on Thursday at Don't Tell. They had at one of the, like, I think main venues, or not main, but just like a pretty big staple in the scene at Barrel of the Bottoms, which is a very neat venue. Very neat venue. Let me get into Barrel of the Bottoms for you guys who don't know. I'm sure some people who are listening, if you've been to Kansas City, you've done the venue, but I did it for the first time a year and a half ago when I went to the scene. They had for the first time they had a mic at this venue, and I almost didn't go because I got I didn't know where I was because it's in like an industrial area of the city where right by the train tracks with a bunch of brick older buildings that look and I believe are mostly abandoned. So it looks like an area of a city that you're like, I don't want to be there after dark, and that's kind of what and I think it probably maybe used to be that. It seems like it's maybe in the middle of trying to get revitalized and gentrified or whatever the word is to bring it back to life, relifealized. Uh, but it's in this big old, it's probably like a 10-story building, old brick building where I guess there's other stuff going on there, but it looks mostly not used, especially from the outside. From the inside, it still kind of looks mostly uninhabited. But it's up on the fourth floor, and it's this little, I guess one of the comics there, or a couple comics, rent this space out, and they use it for, for shows, for mics, for podcasting, for a bunch of stuff. And it probably maxes out. You could probably get 40-ish people in there, and it's pretty packed. But it's they've set it up with a stage and a whole mural background, and it's a very, very cool space. It's kind of the definition, I would say, or a good example of don't tell. If you're not familiar with don't tell comedy, it's basically comedy shows they have all across the country where you buy tickets. It's usually BYOB, and it's in an undisclosed location. So you buy tickets, you'll know it'll say it'll say the city, and it might say kind of the neighborhood area of the city, but you just get the time, and that's kind of the information that you get. And then the day of, you get the actual address. And so when you show up, a lot of times you're discovering this space for the first time. You don't know. It's kind of an exciting thing that you're walking into for the first time. So this is a good representation of what a lot of those shows are, where you're going into this venue where you're where am I? Is this place? Is this? Ooh, this is kind of spooky, kind of scary, kind of exciting. And then you go in, and it's a very cool space. And so that was Thursday. That was the show I did, and it was a hot crowd. There's 30 to 40 people there, which, like I said, fills out the room, but that's not a ton of people as far as crowd size goes. But they were into it. The whole show ripped. Everybody did great. They were laughing. It was one of those, honestly, where they're laughing at stuff that you're okay, that part's not even that funny. So, but that's a good thing to have. Those are just the hot crowds where they're laughing at stuff that you're that usually doesn't get laughter. That was Thursday. Hung out there the rest of the night. They had a improv-esque open mic after. I stayed and did that. It was 12:30 when I went up. I was so tired. Boy, I've said it before, but when I'm tired, and probably for you as well, when you're tired and your stomach hurts and you're a little baby when it comes to how your body feels, you really gotta, you gotta switch gears to be funny. And I didn't. It was so late. It was one of those where I was I should have just gone home because I just didn't have any energy to give. But that was a little different, given that it was 12:30 at night. But I still do need to keep getting better at figuring out how I can keep my mind and body and energy at a good level when I'm doing shows. Because at the end of the day, a lot of times I'm going to be working during the day and then comedy at night. And no excuses, just got to figure out a way to be on point, be funny, be energetic at 7, 8, 9 p.m. when these shows are happening. So I think that yogurt, again, no excuses, but moving forward, I don't think I'll have yogurt because that did not seem to make me feel very good. But I'm feeling much better now. Like it was one of those weird things where I bought it and I kept eating it, and I was like, I think this is really messing with my stomach. Actually, I was like, I know this is messing with my stomach, and then I was like, I think this is also the reason why I'm super tired and not feeling great. But I was like, well, why don't I just go ahead and finish all this because it's expensive yogurt, organic, heavy whipping cream, whatever. So I ate it for like 4 days, and basically that's kind of dumb to do. You're like, this makes me feel terrible. Let's have it for the next meal again. Anyways, that was Thursday. Friday did a show at like a new venue they have called Hillsiders. Did a patio show. It was a little bit lightly attended, but it was still a fun show. It was a little chilly, which a couple of the evenings were chilly, getting into the fall weather. But they used to do it at this place called the Mockingbird Lounge. They do the patio show, which I did last time I visited Kansas City last year. And it was a very fun space. It was also like a staple of the scene, this venue, the Mockingbird Lounge. I actually stayed with a couple comics in their apartment directly above the lounge, the Mockingbird Lounge. But unfortunately, it sounds like the government seized the business like 2 weeks ago and shut it down. So it was a pretty unexpected closure. And I think I don't think it's coming back. It sounded like one of those seizures where there was no chance of revival, It's like they, took it to prison. The Mockingbird Lounge is now in a prison, and I'm picking my nose right now on the podcast. I got an itchy nose. I got a haircut while I was there. The last couple, I got a haircut in Montana. When did I go to Montana? Beginning of September. Wow. I got a haircut not that long ago. I'm getting too many haircuts. One a month? Come on, Ben. What are you doing? I usually try to go one every 2 months. But I got a haircut while I was there on Saturday. Great clips. That's where I go. I know. Leave it in the comments how stupid I am. Honestly, leave it in the comments if you live in Denver or if you know of a better chain. Where should I go? Okay? I've said it and I still believe it. I don't think there's a more expensive, it's like $25-$30 at Great Clips. I don't think there's a more expensive, nicer place that I can go where they can cut my hair. I just think my hair is what it is. It's kind of thin. It's receding. I don't think there's a place I can go and spend $50-$60 and come out and look at myself in the mirror and go, wow, whoa, I look cool. I think it just is. I think my fate and destiny as a hairdo is paying whatever and coming out and going, yeah, that's just what I look like, I guess. I don't think there's any any scenario where I go to a place, a salon, a haircut place, and come out being amazed. I just think it is what it is. It's kind of, I feel the same, honestly, about fashion. I've tried to dabble with different fashion and be like, maybe this will make me look cool, or this shirt will fit and I'll look buff. And it's like, at the end of the day, I've tried on a lot of clothes and I just go, I don't know. This is what I look like. And if I try to do the like fitted shirt, the V-neck, all that stuff, it actually looks worse. Cause then it's like, oh, he's trying too hard. People see it. They sniff it out. They go, this 5.5 here on a scale of 10, this 5.5 is trying to be a 7, and we sniff it out. And you know what? I'm fine being a 5.5. I'm fine being a 4, 6, 7, whatever in the world you think I am. I'll be it. I don't care. Okay. Once you get to a certain age, it's just like, I want to be healthy. And part of being healthy, eating and exercise. I mean, it's mostly for mental feelings, but also part of that is just, keeping your body in a certain check. So, you know, I'm not trying to, there's certain things you can control that I try to control, but also there's a lot you can't. And the face, what my face looks like, my hair, my lips, my ears, my long neck, my tiny peanut head, that it is what it is. You know what? And you can whine about it. You can look in the mirror and you can cry. And you can go, if only I look like Brad Pitt, then my comedy maybe would be better. Or you can just go, who cares? It is what it is. I've got calls to make for work. I can't be thinking about a pimple that I feel on my neck, And if I'm being honest, I will think about that pimple. I will pop a pimple. You always, I've talked about it before, but when you're a kid, you think pimples will be gone when I'm 22. As soon as I buy my first suit for an interview, I will have 0 pimples. Okay, acne will be a thing of the past. Well, let me tell you something. Acne is it's sticking around. I tried to come up with like a rhyme to acne. A rhyme and a joke, like a pun type. I couldn't. Acne. I don't know if anything. Acne. Backney. You guys ever get backney? That's nothing worse than having a bunch of pimples that you can't even pop in the back. That is the best location for something to go where you can't get to it. You just have to look at it. That is a bad, you shouldn't pick. I picked as a bad habit when I was a teenager. I try not to now. But when you don't even have the option to pick, if you wanted to, when it's on the back, that's man. Then you got to ask like friends. Oh, and nobody asks friends, but maybe you do. I remember people popping friends' pimples on their back. That, I'll say it. It's kind of like picking your nose in private. People do it. Okay, folks, don't act like you don't do it. You've popped somebody else's pimple and you've picked your nose. And you know what? You've probably eaten a couple. Get real, okay? This is the United States of America, okay? We're freedom, all right? 1776. Okay? Read the Constitution. The Fifth Amendment. Eat your boogers. Look it up. I don't even know what the Fifth Amendment is. First Amendment, freedom of speech. Second Amendment, right to bear arms. Third Amendment, no clue. Fourth Amendment is something that I've watched a lot of these videos. They're somehow in my algorithm, but it's like defiant people that get pulled over by the cops. And they're like, Fourth Amendment. The cops are like, license and registration. These people are like, Fourth Amendment. I don't answer questions. And I don't know what the Fourth Amendment, maybe it's, I don't know if it's your something rights. I don't know. I know that there's like a freedom to assembly, freedom of press, freedom of speech, freedom to right to bear arms, freedom of religion. I think those are the 5 big ones. Comment below, guys. What are the amendments? And what's your favorite? Are you guys like an amendment crowd? Is this an amendment listener viewership? I'm going to just change from the weekly daily to the weekly amendment. And we're just going to just brainstorm new amendments, Like, free Wi-Fi for all. I'm surprised we don't have, we have a lot of free Wi-Fi here. We're very fortunate in this first world country, United States of America. Very fortunate. People complain about it, but let me tell you what, they are very lucky. We are very lucky to be born in this time period and in the United States. Most of the people ever born in the history of human beings were born in a worse time and not in the U.S., in a dictatorship, whatever. So very lucky. I'm sitting here, I'm podcasting during my lunch break. Pretty lucky. You go to Korea and they don't like your podcast, okay? Can you have a phone there? North Korea, I should say. South Korea, never been, but Seoul is a city there and looks pretty cool. They got bullet trains, which I don't know if you guys are familiar. Excuse me. Whoa. Looks like I tried to just do a bit of coughing, but that was a sneaky cough that came up on me. Bullet trains, though. I wish we had those. Those go like 200 some miles per hour. They get around quick. Here, I mean, we got trains that go 45 miles per hour and still derail somehow. What are we doing? It's like Thomas, the choo-choo train, Thomas, the train. Okay, figure it out, dude. Use your power of TV show reach. Wow, sometimes when you like try to be funny and you just, that was like laborious to just try to say they weren't funny, but just to try to fill dead space with words. Whoa, that made some kind of sense. I don't even know if they made sense, but that's what a lot of podcasting is. It's like just make noises and eliminate as many dead spaces as possible. And then, 12 people max will listen. I need to plug the podcast more. I never plug it, and I'll get there. Once I get to a year in, I'm going full in. Actually, next year I'm planning on going on the road and headlining more. And then at that point, merch, podcast, Instagram, those will be 3 primary things that, just by default, I'll kind of have to do, and it'll just make more sense. When you're headlining, I feel more comfortable if I'm headlining to plug all those things versus if I'm just doing a spot, especially on a local showcase, but even if I'm doing a spot on the road or whatever, when there's like 8 other people doing 10-minute spots, it's like, I don't know, it feels a little pretentious to me, and just a little weird. Teach their own. I know plenty of people who do it, and that's totally fine. I just am a little, what's the word? I'm shy. That's not the exact word, but you guys get it. That's the smallest word I could do for if anybody is on the intelligence level, same as me, which is very low on the scale. Then I just wanted to make sure you guys kind of understood the gist of what I'm saying. I'll be honest, I totally forgot where I was going, how I even branched off to this. But I'll just pivot to something else. I think I went on a tangent like 7 times. I inceptioned this podcast to where, no, Inception? Is that the dream movie? I think. I went too deep. And like Leonardo DiCaprio mentioned, he didn't come back for a long time. And I don't know if I will come back. I think I went too deep. I have no memory of what brought me here. But I will I'll kind of I can't even think of the word I'm thinking of. I'll wind down for the last bit of the podcast here, just kind of tying up what I was talking about in Kansas City. Friday did the patio goofs at Hillsiders bar there. And then Saturday, Friday night, I think I stayed out for a decent amount of time. Oh, yeah. They had an after party at this place by the Barrel of the Bottoms, kind of in the same area, 9th and State, which it was, it wasn't a huge after party. I think there was like an after party. I just was hanging out and talking with some of the comics, a lot of cool comics from different areas, getting to meet them and talk to them about, their scenes and the shows in the areas and kind of what they've been up to as far as traveling around, doing festivals, stuff like that. But that was Friday night. Saturday, I did. I went to a noon show. So they had it at the same place that I mentioned on the patio at Hillsiders for a noon, kind of like a brunch show. And dude, it was packed out. There was probably 60, 70 people, if I had to guess. I don't know. I'm not great at numbers, but that sounds about maybe 50. But I mean, it was full, the space, the outdoor patio space. And, a lot of times comedy, you need a lot of elements to make it work. And a lot of times having it that early in the sun outside are like things that you're like, I don't know if it can recover from this. But let me tell you what, one of the hotter shows, if not the hottest show, I saw while I was there. People were there to laugh, and it was a good time. It was cool watching a lot of funny comics there. Sam Talent was also there. It was funny enough. He wasn't on the festival, but he was headlining a weekend, the weekend at the Comedy Club of Kansas City. And so he came out to like a mic on Thursday, the one that I was mentioning at Barrel of the Bottoms. But he also dropped in and did a spot at this show. And if you don't know who Sam Talent is, look him up. He's got a great book, but he's such a good comedian. And his style, his comedy, is like improv stand-up. And it's not crowd work. A lot of people do this like rather than doing pre-rehearsed material that they've worked out, they'll do crowd, they'll ask the crowd questions and then they'll build tension and they'll break it and get laughs that way. Sam Talent, literally just off the dome, is just funny, nonstop improv. I mean, and usually with improv, it's like, hey, you're going to swing a lot and you're going to miss a lot. Sometimes you hit it, but you're going to miss a lot. He doesn't miss. He went up there for 10 minutes and just did a character pretending to be the older brother of the previous comic. And he just did a country accent for 10 minutes and just destroyed. Oh man, it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch, and thank goodness it's a little bit different than pre-rehearsed material, because if it was pre-rehearsed material and he crushed like that every time, I would, just quit comedy. Because you see, I mean, and there's also plenty of people who are like that with pre-rehearsed. You just see them rip, and it's a sight to see. It's motivating, but sometimes when it's that good, it's almost like, good Lord, I'll never get there. But he dropped, I mean, he's such a funny guy, and he's such on the up and up. I mean, he is doing great for himself. And the fact that he's still like a humble, like comes out and just like does a drop-in spot at noon and did the open mic, like, not many people do that, especially when they start getting momentum like he's gotten. So cool to see him there. It's fun being out on the road or whatever doing shows, and then you like run into other comics that are also from Denver or from your scene. So that was a good time. But then went to a couple other shows that night. Went to the show at the Rhino, watched some Denver comics, do some shows there. And then we went out to an after party, which was at it was at I guess a bar. It was called The Ship. It looked like the whole theme of it was like, like you were in a ship, I guess. So it was a bar, but it was kind of like a bar club. What do you call? I don't know what you call it, but it was kind of like busy, like a club where it's just like music and like you kind of yelling to hear. I don't know. I didn't drink any. It was kind of honestly a bit of a worst case scenario nightmare situation when you're like, oh, I'm kind of tired. I'm not drinking, and this environment is chaos. And I don't like it. But that was for like the first 20 minutes. But then fortunately there were a lot of comics that were like outside on kind of the patio area where you were away from music a little bit, where you could just chill and chat. And that's all I wanted to do, just hang out with the people. When you're in a very loud space like that, you're like, unless I'm dancing or just hammered or I don't know, like you can't hear people very well and you can't talk. And so I was like, ugh, I don't want to be here. But turned out to be fun. Got to hang out and catch up with just, more people that I had met and old friends, things like that. So that was the weekend there. Very fun time at Fountain City Comedy Festival. A lot of really funny and nice, genuine, just good people out in KC. And then I drove back yesterday, which was Sunday, October 8th. I don't know why I give the date every time I'm on here. I need to stop giving the date because I should probably record some of these podcasts like back to back so I can not have to be like last second, oh my gosh, I got to record the podcast. But part of the podcast is updating you guys on what I'm doing comedy wise. So if I did that, then, I kind of wouldn't have comedy stuff to talk about. With that said, though, drove back on Sunday. It's like a 8-ish hour drive. Left at 9:30. Got back 5 or 6. And drive wasn't too bad. It's pretty boring, but I just threw on some podcast. It was nice weather. Made it back, and here I am. So I've got some stuff coming up this week. I'm doing Sushi High on Thursday. I've got the show I'm running at Washington Street Community Center, Wash Park Comedy Show, on Saturday the 14th. $10 tickets. Hannah Jones headlining. Free beer. Free White Claws. Come out. If you're a comic and you're listening to this, come out. You obviously get in free. Come hang out. And then I've got a bunch of stuff after that. I'm doing the Denver Comedy Lounge the weekend after that, October 20th and 21st. Hosting some Don't Tells coming up next month. Fairly busy. I just got accepted actually into the Blue Ridge Comedy Festival in Bristol, Tennessee /Virginia, which I'm excited about. That should be a fun time. Be my first time going there, doing the club there, so I'm excited to do that. I think it's a competition, so also looking forward to that. And hoping for 2024 to hit the ground running, do some more or kind of start doing some headlining stuff, and just keep the grind going, keep the momentum going. I'm trying to work on some new stories. I've felt a little creatively deficient in the last few months, but I'm working at it. Okay. If you're a family member, friend, whoever who has seen me semi-recently, trust me, I'm working through some new stuff. I've got a lot of new stuff in the last year anyways. So I'm building, I'm working towards it, trying to get better. So looking forward to the future. Excited for it. So I'll end it there. Thanks for listening, guys. Appreciate you guys being here. Again, I asked some questions during the episode. Feel free to answer. Feel free to just leave a comment. Comments are appreciated. But with that said, I'll leave it there. Thanks so much for hanging in there and listening until the end if you did. And I'll see you guys again next week.